Functions are often represented using function notation, so I want to take some time to explain that in this video. Here's an example behind me. F of x equals x squared. This does not mean f times x. A lot of times in algebra, parentheses means multiplication, but not with function notation. F of x is signifying that we have a function, and the function is x squared. The input value is x. The output value is represented by the notation f of x. That's the same as y equals x squared. F of x is the output that you get when you input the amount x. F of x equals x squared. So when we say something like this, evaluate f of 4, what we mean is input the value 4 and give the output value. F of 4 should be the output value at the input value of 4. So how do we do this? Evaluate f of 4? Well, we substitute. 4 is the input value, the x value. F of 4 equals 4 squared. So f of 4 is 16. This is saying when I input the value 4, I get an output value of 16. Or we might say evaluate f of negative 2. F of negative 2. We do the same thing. This is the input value. We plug it into the function. The function was x squared, so we take negative 2 and square it. F of negative 2 equals 4. And that means when we input negative 2, we get an output value of 4. Let's consider how this function notation might look with an example of a graph of a function. So here's the graph of a function, and we're asked to find f of 0. What does that mean? What's f of 0? That's the output of the function when x equals 0. So when x equals 0, that's this point right here. This has an x value of 0. The y value there is 1. And so we say f of 0 equals 1. Input value is 0, output value is 1. F of 0 equals 1. Find the values of x for which f of x equals 0. What does that mean? That's saying the output value is 0. So this is going backwards. This is the output value. Now we're supposed to find the input values. So I need to look at this graph for where the output value or the y value is 0. Where is the y value 0? Well, that's here, and here, and here. There's 3 different x values. X equals negative 2, x equals 1, x equals 3. All of these are x values that have an output value of 0, and that's what this function notation means. Finally, hearkening back to an earlier video, let's find the domain and range, just for practice. What's the domain and what's the range of this graph? Domain is x values from the left to the right. So the smallest x value I see is negative 2. The largest x value I see is positive 3. I'm moving on the horizontal axis from the left to the right. So the domain is from negative 2 to positive 3. The range is the y values from the bottom to the top. The smallest y value I see is here. It's at negative 1. The largest y value I see is here. It's at y equals 3. So my range is from negative 1 to 3.